In this demonstration, I'll go over some of the new 200.6 troubleshooting tools using the Unleashed browser user interface. When we log into the dashboard, we'll see a home screen similar to this. The first thing that we see is the Internet bar, and you'll see the status. In this case, it shows connected. If I click on that bar, it will expand, and this component will provide details on the Unleashed Master AP's upstream connection to the Internet. So you'll see the Ethernet status, so you see that one port is enabled, the other port is disabled. We'll get the IP address, the gateway address, the DNS, and the Internet status, which shows it's connected. There's a little refresh button, so we can refresh by clicking on that and get an immediate refresh. So this is a new feature in 200.6 where this Internet bar expands. Another new feature is client connectivity. So I'll close this bar and I'll click on Clients. And as you can see, we have a number of clients here. So I'll select a client, and I'll pick this Android device here. And if I click on the Troubleshooting tab, it brings up the client's MAC address, and I can click Start to begin troubleshooting and then connect your device to the network. It says if the client device is currently connected, the AP will disconnect your device, and your device will automatically reconnect. So I'm going to hit Start, and it'll go through various steps in analyzing the connectivity of this client. And you can go down here and see the various handshaking that happened. DHCP discovered, the offer, the request, the acknowledge, the AP that it's used on, the R500, and we can scroll down and look at the handshaking that's taking place. So if, for example, we had a client that was continually disconnecting, and we go in and we take a look at this troubleshooting tool, this could give us some information about what's happening with that client and help us to troubleshoot that client. We'll go ahead and stop that. It says that you have started the troubleshooting on this page. If you navigate away from this page, the troubleshooting will stop. That's okay. We'll do that. Another new feature that we have with 200.6 is we can actually rename this client. So this shows that it's an Android device, but whose Android device is it? We might want to label that. So we could go up here to rename. So I'm going to say this is the S5 Galaxy. So we have the S5 Galaxy phone, and I click OK. And you notice now that we've now renamed that client. Now this doesn't rename it into the database. And if for some reason I wanted to change it back, I could click Rename, leave it blank, and then hit OK, and you'll see that it goes back to the original status. But this allows me then to label clients so that if there's troubleshooting going on and I have a ton of clients out there, I can label them and I know what that client is or maybe who is associated with it. So that's a nice new feature in 200.6. Another feature that we could do from this menu is speed test. So if I click on speed test, this will allow me to test your AP's network speed within 20 seconds. As a note, you have to have SpeedFlex enabled on the client device. So I've already enabled on this particular device, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Start, and it'll go ahead and do the speed test. It'll start with the downlink testing, and then when that finishes, it'll do the uplink test. And now we're finished, and it shows that the downlink was 70 megabits per second, and the uplink was 57 megabits per second. I could test it again, or I could exit, so I'll exit out of it. Another new feature with 200.6 is looking at the Ethernet port status of your APs. So we'll close this window, and we'll click on the access point bar. And the first box up here shows a summary of the total access points. In this case, we have 2. So if I select the R600, if I click on Show System Overview, this will give me detailed information. And the new feature that we have here is this LAN port status. So it shows that Ethernet 0 is down, Ethernet 1 is up. So that's the Ethernet port that I'm using. It gives me the physical link and also the label on that port. Now, if I clicked on the next AP, the R500, it'll give the status of that one as well. And you'll notice that both the Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1 link are down, and that's because this is a mesh AP, and this is one hop to that particular AP. Now, if I wanted to save a log, I could click on this down arrow here, and depending on the browser you have, it'll ask you to save it or it'll display it at the bottom. And now if I take a look at that, I can get some kind of an idea of the actions that were taking place. This is pretty cryptic, so if for some reason you're having problems, you probably want to send this to the Ruckus tax support. Okay, we'll close that bar. And if I just wanted to do like a single ping or trace command, I could go into my administration and services. I'll click on that bar. I'll go to administrator, network connectivity. And here I can do a single ping or a trace. So I'll put in an Ethernet address here of 52.36.213.56, which is the Ruckus public IP address. I could do a ping on that. It'll see whether I have connectivity or not. And it looks like that we're good to go. Or I could clear that and I can do a trace route. And it'll trace the route from my home office here back to corporate and back, and just show me the routers and gateways that it goes through. So this completes a short demonstration covering some of the new 200.6 troubleshooting tools using the Unleashed browser user interface.